Hi guys, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Chris Jackson. I am a twice exceptional adult in the San Francisco Bay Area. So today we are at Pulgas Ridge here, close to San Carlos, California. And we're going to be exploring kind of like oak woodland areas in Northern California and the type of plants that they have. Okay, so let's start with this first plant here. So this first plant is a manzanita, and manzanitas have this kind of like reddish bark that peels, so it's kind of similar to the madrone that we saw in the redwood forest. There's actually madrones in this habitat as well, but the distinctive feature is kind of like, you can see like these red berries, and they have these small kind of like leathery light green leaves. And manzanitas also attract a lot of bees, so there's not a lot of bees flying around right now, probably because it's maybe later in the day, but they do get, they do attract bees to the flowers. So, okay, let's go on to our next plant here. And this is a coastal live oak. So we've seen this type of plant in the redwood forest, and it's very common here in the oak woodlands of California. And it's a very kind of popular tree for parks and landscapes. Okay, so let's go on to our next plant. So our next plant is right here. And this is called a tonian, or Christmas berry. So the berries are not ripe right now. They usually ripen up in December, January, so they're kind of like winter berry kind of plants. So, and the distinguishing feature, you can kind of see the leaves, and they have kind of like a saw shape on the margin of the leaves. So that's something to kind of look out for. Okay, so this next plant is really kind of like important to look out for, and it is this plant right here. And that is a poison oak. So if anyone knows anything about poison oak, so here's another one. So poison oaks have this oil that irritates the skin, so you don't want to brush up against it, or you'll get a bad skin rash, painful skin rash. So it's definitely something to look out for in these types of habitats. So this next one is kind of a cool oak. And it is a blue oak. So a blue oak, you can kind of see it's a pretty, it's kind of a graceful tree that kind of has long, kind of like drooping branches. So that's, you see a lot of these types of trees more like inland, away from the coastline in California. So let's continue our little walk down this path. It's a nice warm evening right now. There's some bugs outside, but they're not too bad. And if you can't hear, there's a road that's fairly close to here, so I apologize for any of the kind of ambient road noise that's kind of on this trail. So let's continue and see if we can find something else. So I see a lot of poison oak, and there's definitely, I guess it's good for ground cover. I don't know if animals are kind of affected by poison oak. Maybe their fur kind of, stops the oil from touching their skin. And let's keep going. So I'm hoping that we can kind of look at a buckeye. I haven't really seen one yet. There was one a little bit farther down the road, or farther down the trail actually. So let's try to be patient, and then we might be able to see one. So here's another coastal live oak. And so this is kind of an interesting habitat because it's actually not that far away from the redwood forest I was at yesterday, it's only like a few miles away, but the other place was up in the mountains. So this is actually kind of like in the foothills, so it's drier. There's not as much fog and probably not as much rain as you get in the higher peaks of the Santa Cruz Mountain. Okay, so I finally found what I wanted to show you. And this tree here, with kind of like the crinkled up brown leaves, is a California buckeye tree. And California buckeyes produce kind of like this, I don't know if it's a berry, I don't know exactly what you call it, but it's like poisonous. And I think like the Native Americans used to use the poison to stun animals like fish or whatever animals they hunted. So there's one down there, and you can kind of see like they look almost like pears growing on the buckeye. So that's the kind of fruit it produces. And I don't really see too much more that we haven't already covered. Here's this vine right here is a California honeysuckle, and we saw that in the redwood forest. So that's pretty much all there is, all the plants that I can find here. So I want to thank you guys for watching my podcast, and I hope to see you in my future podcasts. And about me, so like I said, I'm twice exceptional, and I try to find ways to help me concentrate and help me focus and calm down. So kind of hiking through these trails in the Bay Area is really kind of soothing for me. It kind of gets me more in touch with nature and kind of better able to think and concentrate. So anyway, well, I want to thank you guys for watching my podcast, and I hope to see you next time. All right, bye everyone. Take care.